welcome back to Vinyl Decal School. This week I thought I would just go through 5 skills which I think are so important if you want to succeed in the vinyl decal business game. A few years ago when I started my decal business, not only had I barely made any decals, didn't really know my cricut that well, hadn't been using it for that long, but I'd never run a business before, I'd never made products to sell, so I was completely starting from scratch and kind of learned the hard way what skills I needed and just kind of had to figure it all out from there. But thankfully I kind of learned what I needed to know and now my business is doing really well. So yeah, these are just a few skills that I feel like I use every day and I think would be really helpful for everyone to kind of learn or develop if they want to be successful selling decals. Before I start, I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe, like and follow my videos on my channel. I'd love to keep doing content like this and I can only do it with your support. So that'd be really appreciated, thank you. So here are my top 5. Number 1, a reasonable amount of patience. I am known as being really impatient. I get told off for it quite a lot because I'm just really rubbish at waiting for things. But I really had to learn how to be patient with this business. And that's because machines can play up and can kind of decide they want to cut something differently for some reason. Silhouette and Cricut can decide they want to update their software, and it just so happens it's the day where you decide to get up early to make 50 orders that you wanted to make that day. And believe me, that has happened to me on several occasions on my busiest days. It's always when Cricut decides they want to update Design Space for some reason. And then there's also been times where I've run out of a certain colour of vinyl. I've needed it to finish like a few designs, so I put an order in, expecting it to come like the next day or the day after that, and it's been delayed for whatever reason. So I've really had to learn patience for things like that. You've just got to kind of accept that there's things outside of your control. And when you can accept that and learn to be patient, it makes this job a lot easier and a lot less stressful. Number 2. So the second one is basic design knowledge. So you definitely don't need to be a whiz on Illustrator or Photoshop in order to sell decals. You can have really basic design knowledge, especially if you're just doing like names for glasses or labels for jars and stuff like that. All that takes is finding like a nice font, making sure it's all joined up nicely, and that's kind of all you need. But if you want to level up your business, I do think it's important to develop some more design skills. So I've got like a few design books which I bought and kind of flicked through just to get the basics, watched some YouTube videos, stuff like that. But I actually think the main place I've learned is just from like trying out different designs, playing with design software, just loads and loads of designing different things has really helped me hone my skills. And I'm definitely not like anywhere near professional graphic design level, not at all, but when a customer comes to me with a specific request, it's quite rare that I say that I'm unable to design it, unless it's something hand-drawn and I'm an absolutely terrible drawer and I can't do it. But yeah, most of the time I don't have any trouble fulfilling requests from customers, and that is something I've just learned over time as my design skills have grown. Number 3. So number 3 is kind of leading on from the last one in that it's design related, but it is the ability to spot trends. This is really important for staying ahead of your competitors. You don't want to just copy what they're doing, you don't want to use the same fonts as them, you want to be ahead of them rather than behind them, and that means customers are going to choose you over kind of 10 people who are all doing the same thing. This is something you get better at over time. I'm still kind of developing this skill and trying to spot trends ahead of time. It's not always that easy, especially in my industry, which is quite saturated. So I do mostly wedding decals. So last year, I think it was, maybe the year before, I noticed that a lot of weddings on Pinterest were becoming kind of more minimal, less sort of big fancy letters and more just white space, block lettering, just really simple. So I thought I'm gonna have to jump on that, and I designed a few different signs on my Etsy shop that were kind of more in keeping with the minimal style. Launched them and they've been doing really well since I brought them out. And looking at different things for next year, I've got a few ideas. It's just kind of finding the time to research them and do new designs and stuff like that, but hopefully I'll have them up by the end of the year. But yeah, you don't necessarily have to get inspiration from your own niche either. You could look at like interiors, fashion, all sorts of stuff, see what's popular at the moment, see what is trending, what people are into. Like the beginning of this year, probably no one could have predicted we would have been inside all year, but if you'd have thought ahead, maybe in like March time, you could have came out with a line of decals for people who are stuck inside and don't have things to do and just want to label their house or decorate or do whatever, and kind of marketed to those people. And then your marketing campaign could have been using decals to do something indoors. I don't know, I'll just come up with that. Now it's not very good. I'm sure you could have come up with something much better. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. I'm sure like if you've got kids who are used to them going through different stages and trends, and there's always something new coming out that becomes popular. So it's just staying ahead of the curve really, and it's something you develop over time, but it's good to be aware that that is something you need to think about as you're growing your business. Number 4, attention to detail. I think this is important for businesses, no matter what kind of business you're running, but it's especially important for decals. Like when you're doing those smaller decals, you can easily lose a letter or lose a dot off an I, and if you're not paying attention to those details, that's the difference between a good quality and a bad quality product, and the difference between getting a good and a bad review basically. So yeah, it's another one that you're going to get better at over time, but it is quite helpful if you start from the very beginning with a good attention to detail and making sure everything is perfect before it goes out the door and before your customers see it. Number 5. So this one to me, I think is the most important out of all of them. If you could be perfect at the last 4, but if you don't have this 5th one down, then your business is going to crash and burn. And it is good customer service. I'm not going to lie, I've had times where I have shouted at the computer at a bit of a difficult customer, but they would never know it because my replies are always sweetness and light. And I guess actually this kind of goes back to having patience as well. This is another reason you need patience. That's also not to say you should just put up with like horrible rude customers and get walked all over. Definitely not. But there is a way to handle those difficult customers that means the difference between a good and a bad review. And it's not just how you treat the difficult customers either, obviously, it's also how you treat your really lovely customers. If you're always really nice and helpful and go above and beyond, your business will grow much quicker than if you do the bare minimum and are really short with customers and are rude. Because at the end of the day, the best way to build your business and the quickest and cheapest way to build your business is to get your customers to recommend you to other people and to build up those good reviews and let everyone see how good of a job you're doing. So as you can see, all of these skills are really easy to learn and develop and build upon. So if you've got the tools, there is literally nothing stopping you from selling decals. You can do it. We can all do it if we're passionate enough about it. I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to learn more about selling decals, please like, follow and subscribe. And also join my Facebook group and email list. I'll link in the description because I'm going to be sending more tips and hints out to those places as well. Until next time, thanks for watching.